Good evening. Let me ask you a question, and I want you to answer it honestly to yourself. If someone gave you $1 million but told you that you wouldn't wake up tomorrow, would you take the money? Most people say no. Why? Because we instinctively know that life itself is more valuable than anything money can buy. But now let me flip the question. If your life is worth more than $1 million, why do so many of us invest in everything except ourselves? We pour time into jobs that drain us. We give energy to relationships that take more than they give. We spend money on distractions to avoid the reality that we're not where we want to be. But here's the truth. The most important investment you'll ever make is not in stocks, not in real estate, not in crypto. It's in you. Your growth, your health, your mind, your purpose. Because your future, your happiness, your impact, your legacy, they all depend on who you become. So tonight, I want to invite you to stop treating personal development like a luxury and start treating it like a lifeline. Let me talk to you for a minute. You ever been on a computer that's slow, like real slow? You're trying to open a file, trying to type, trying to get things done, and the whole thing just locks up. Spinning wheel, hourglass, frozen. You're sitting there frustrated, yelling at the screen like it's got ears, but it's not the file, it's not the keyboard, it's not even the Wi-Fi. It's the system. The operating system is outdated, too many bugs, not enough space, can't keep up. Now, I want you to imagine for a second, what if your mind was that system? What if the way you see the world, the way you talk to yourself, the things you believe deep down are all part of a mental operating system that's holding you back? See, most people walking through life don't realize the biggest wall they'll ever have to climb is the one they built in their own mind. Not society, not the economy, not their boss. It's that little voice inside that says, you're not good enough. That says, this is just the way things are. You're not meant for more. You know how many people I've seen, talented, sharp, full of fire, and still stuck? Because somewhere along the way, someone told them they weren't smart enough, or pretty enough, or connected enough. And you know what happened? They believed it. And that belief became their truth. That lie became their lens. And suddenly, they stopped reaching, stopped trying, stopped dreaming. Not because they couldn't, but because they thought they shouldn't. Now let me tell you what I know from experience, from life, from struggle, from falling flat on my face. Your mindset is everything. It's the lens through which you see possibility. It's the filter that decides whether failure is the end or just the beginning. It's the difference between the person who gets knocked down and stays down and the one who says, is that all you got? I remember back when I was just starting out before the stages, before the lights, I had auditions where I walked in and felt the doubt hanging in the room. I saw the looks. He's not the type. I heard the no's. I felt the rejection. And I'll be honest with you, it got to me. You get told no enough times, you start to wonder if they're right. But I had to make a decision. Right then and there. Do I let the outside voices define my inside voice? Or do I rewire my thinking? That's what mindset is. It's a choice. A daily choice. Now, there's a woman, a brilliant psychologist named Carol Dweck. She studied this stuff for years, and what she found is simple but powerful. People who believe they can get better, do better. Doesn't matter where they start, doesn't matter how much talent they were born with. It's about who's willing to learn, who's willing to stumble, mess up, and keep going anyway. You know what that tells me? Life isn't about being perfect. It's not about having it all figured out. It's about being willing to look foolish, willing to start small, willing to say, I don't know, but I'm going to find out. Now, let me talk about something else, the upgrade. Because just like your phone needs updates, just like your car needs maintenance, your mind needs renewal, you got to put in the work. You got to read. You got to reflect. You got to sit still sometimes and ask yourself, why do I believe what I believe? Where did this fear come from? Is that my voice or someone else's I've been carrying for too long? I know people who go to the gym every day, take care of their bodies like it's a temple, but their minds are out here running on fear, on scarcity, on shame from years ago that never got dealt with. That's not freedom. That's mental prison. And let me tell you, if your mind ain't free, then you're not free. You can't have peace without clarity. You can't have growth without discomfort. You can't step into a new chapter while dragging old stories that don't serve you anymore. You ever see a tree with roots rotting underneath? looks fine from the outside, leaves still green, but one good storm comes and that thing falls fast. Same with us. If we don't deal with the roots, the mindset, the belief system, the way we talk to ourselves when no one's around, it'll catch up. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually. So I'm asking you to take inventory. What are the thoughts you've accepted as truth that were never meant for you? Who told you you weren't enough, and why did you believe them? When did you stop dreaming big because playing small felt safer? It's time to reprogram. And I'm not saying it's easy. This ain't some Instagram quote kind of change. This is deep work, soul work. This is waking up every day and choosing better, choosing to read that book, choosing to ask for help, choosing to go to therapy if you need it and not being ashamed of it, choosing to grow, even if it's just 1 inch at a time. You see, a new mindset won't always change your situation overnight, but it will change how you respond to it. And that right there, that's power. That's freedom. That's where the shift begins. Because when you upgrade your mind, you upgrade your life. The decisions you make, the chances you take, the people you surround yourself with, all of that starts shifting when you start believing in your worth. And don't wait for permission. Don't wait for a breakdown to find your breakthrough. Don't wait until life backs you into a corner to finally say, I deserve more than this. Start now. Start small. Start with one thought. Because the person you're meant to be is already in you. They're just waiting on you to believe it too. So let me leave you with this. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are becoming. And the key to who you become starts with what you believe. So fix your system. Rewire your thinking. And never forget, if your mind is free, nothing can hold you. But if your mind is bound, even the open road will feel like a cage. Invest in your mindset like your life depends on it. Because it does. Let me tell you something right now that we forget way too often. You only get one body, not two, not one and a backup. One. That's it. And that body, that gift, that miracle you've been walking around in, it's not just something to decorate. It's not a mannequin. It's not just some shell to carry your mind and ambition around it. Your body is the engine. And without it, nothing moves. See, people talk about getting in shape like it's about six packs and Instagram photos and gym selfies, like it's some luxury, some optional lifestyle thing. But I'm here to tell you, this is not vanity we're talking about. This is survival. We take care of our cars better than we take care of our bodies. We change the oil, we rotate the tires, we check the engine light the moment it turns on. But that same person who'll run to the mechanic when their check engine light blinks will ignore their own body screaming at them for years. That back pain you keep putting off, that constant fatigue, that foggy mind, that fast food, that shortness of breath walking up a flight of stairs, that is your check engine light. And most people don't notice it until it's blinking red. Let me ask you something. You ever seen somebody who is successful in business, respected in their community, had the suits, the house, the accolades, but couldn't walk without pain? Couldn't sleep without pills? Couldn't climb stairs without getting winded? That's not winning. That's barely holding on. And the scary thing is we normalize that. We say, well, that's just aging, or that's just life, but it's not. It's not about perfection. I'm not saying you need to be in the gym every day doing deadlifts. But what I am saying is, if you don't invest in your body now, you're going to be paying the price later, and not just in discomfort, but in time, in money, in missed opportunities, in life. There's a quote I heard once, Robin Sharma said it. If you don't make time for your fitness, you'll be forced to make time for your illness. That one stuck with me because I've seen it. Maybe you have too. I remember visiting a friend in the hospital once. Strong man, successful, heart of gold. But he didn't take care of himself. Always said he didn't have time. Always pushing, always grinding, skipping meals, skipping rest, just getting through the week. Well, that week turned into years. And those years caught up to him. I sat next to his bed watching him hooked up to machines that had more control over his life than he did. And the man looked at me, held my hand and said, I thought I was too busy to be healthy. Now all I have is time, and I'm spending it here. That moment never left me. Because here's the truth. Your body is not invincible. It's not endless. It doesn't care about your excuses, your job title, or how many likes you got on a post. It keeps the score, quietly, consistently. And one day, if you don't respect it, it will remind you who's really in control. We say we don't have time to work out, but we'll scroll for hours, watch whole seasons of shows in a weekend. We don't have time to cook a meal, but we'll wait in line at a drive-thru for 20 minutes. It's not about time. It's about priority. And let me say this too. This isn't about shame. This isn't about looking in the mirror and tearing yourself down. This is about love. Love for yourself, love for your future, love for the people who need you at your best. Because when your energy is low, your world suffers. Your job suffers. Your relationships suffer. Your patience, your creativity, your peace of mind, all of it takes a hit. Because you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't give what you don't have. You think clearer when your body is rested. You speak better. You move with more confidence. You laugh deeper. You connect better. That's what this is really about, being alive in every sense of the word. Not just existing, living. And let's talk about the simple things. You don't need a gym membership to start moving. Go for a walk. Do some stretches in the morning. Get sunlight. Drink water. Sleep more. Eat real food. Not the shiny package with 20 ingredients you can't pronounce. I mean, real whole food. You'd be surprised how many problems get smaller when you start treating your body like it matters. Depression, anxiety, brain fog, a lot of it is tied to what's going on in the body. Not all of it, but more than we think. Your gut health, your hormones, your blood sugar, these things are not just physical, they affect your mind, your emotions, your spirit. People are out here chasing peace while living on coffee, sugar, and 4 hours of sleep. That's not peace, that's adrenaline, that's survival mode, and it will wear you down. Now, I get it. Life is hard. You got responsibilities. Kids, work, bills. I hear you. But let me ask you this. If your body gives out, who's going to carry all that? If your health falls apart, who will your family lean on? If you burn out, who benefits? You can't be who you're called to be if you're running on fumes. So I say this with all the love in my heart. Start where you are. Don't wait for a diagnosis. Don't wait for the breakdown. Don't wait until the doctor says, you've got 6 months to turn this around. Start now. Move a little more today than you did yesterday. Drink 1 more glass of water. Swap 1 meal for something nourishing. Go to bed 30 minutes earlier. And if nothing else, take 5 minutes to just breathe. Not because you're trying to be perfect, but because you deserve to feel alive. Your health is not a side quest, it's the foundation. It's the ground you build your whole life on. And without it, nothing, and I mean nothing, can stand for long. So invest in yourself, not just the dream, not just the hustle, the machine that makes it all possible. Because this body right here, this temple, this miracle, it's the only one you get. Treat it like it matters. Because it does, life is moving fast. I mean, we are living in a time where everything is changing so quickly. Sometimes it feels like you can't catch your breath. The economy, technology, the way we work, it's all shifting beneath our feet. We're seeing things we never thought possible. Automation, artificial intelligence, machines taking over tasks that used to take hours. And while a lot of folks are scared, they're worried about what this means for the future, I'm here to tell you something. AI won't replace people, but people who use AI will replace the ones who don't. The future doesn't belong to the strongest. It doesn't belong to the most talented, the most popular, or the ones with the loudest voices. The future belongs to the most adaptable. And that means if you're not learning, if you're not evolving, if you're not growing, you're falling behind. It's as simple as that. You can ignore it. You can pretend it doesn't apply to you. You can put your head down and hope for the best. But let me tell you, the world doesn't care if you're comfortable. It doesn't care if you've been in the same job for 10 years, or if you've been doing the same thing for a decade. If you're not growing, you're stagnating. And stagnation is death. Think about it. The tools are out there. There's so much knowledge at your fingertips. It's right there in your phone, on your computer, in the books. You can learn just about anything. You can take a course. You can watch a tutorial. You can pick up a new language. You can dive into a new industry, a new way of thinking. You can build your skills like your life depends on it, because guess what? It does. Let me give you an example. You've heard of people who lost their job at 40. Maybe they got laid off. Maybe the company they worked for shut down. Whatever the reason, they found themselves in a tough spot. But the ones who adapted, the ones who didn't let themselves fall into despair or self-pity, they found a way out. They reinvented themselves. They learned new skills. They entered a new industry. They did what they had to do to stay relevant. And guess what? At 41, they found a new career, a new passion, a new chapter. But then there are others, people who stopped learning. They got comfortable. They hit a point where they thought they knew enough, they'd seen enough, they didn't need to change. And they've been stuck in the same place ever since. I see it all the time. People stop learning at 25, 30, 35. They stop growing. And then they wake up at 50, looking back at a life of missed opportunities, regretting the fact that they didn't keep moving, didn't keep evolving, didn't keep learning. And let me tell you, I'm not here to make you feel bad. I'm not here to tell you that you're behind. What I'm saying is, it's not too late. It's never too late. If you're still breathing, you're still growing. If you're still alive, you've got a shot at making something new. You've got the power to adapt. And in this world, if you can adapt, you'll thrive. But here's the thing. If you don't invest in learning now, your future self will pay the price for your current comfort. If you stay comfortable, if you keep telling yourself, I'll do it tomorrow, or I don't need to learn that, I'm fine, you will look back in 5, 10, 20 years and regret not taking the steps to learn and grow when you had the chance. It's like this. The people who are winning today are the ones who refuse to let comfort define them. They're not sitting back and waiting for life to hand them something. They're in the game, day in and day out, building new skills, sharpening what they already know, adding to their toolkits, investing in themselves like their life depends on it, because it does. I'm going to tell you something. Technology is moving faster than we can keep up with. If you don't believe that, go take a look at what's happening in the world. AI, machine learning, automation, these things are transforming everything. And you might look at that and say, well, I'm not in tech. That's not my field. But here's the thing. You don't have to be in tech for technology to change your life. It's affecting every field, every industry, every job. So what are you doing to stay relevant? What are you doing to build your skills? What are you doing to ensure that when the world keeps turning, you don't get left behind? If you're not learning, you're falling behind. It's that simple. You don't have to go back to school. You don't have to go all in at once, but you do have to start. You have to start somewhere. And don't tell me there's no time. We make time for the things we want to make time for. If you really want it, you'll find a way. I know people who've worked 2 jobs, raised families, dealt with all kinds of hardship, and still found a way to take a course online, still found a way to learn something new, still found a way to make themselves better. I'll tell you this, the world will not wait for you to get comfortable. The world will not pause to give you time to figure it out. So don't wait for that moment. Don't wait until you're forced to. Start right now. Start with what you've got. Start with the skills you have and build from there. There's a power in being adaptable. There's a power in being open to change, to growth, to learning. And when you invest in that, when you invest in your ability to learn, adapt, and grow, you invest in your future. You invest in your relevance. You invest in your financial security. You invest in your confidence. Because there is nothing more empowering than knowing you are always getting better, always learning, always evolving. Don't be the person who looks back and says, I wish I'd kept learning. Don't be the person who is left behind because they got too comfortable. You have the power to shape your future. You have the ability to stay relevant in a world that's changing faster than ever. Your future is not a given. It's not something you can take for granted, but you can shape it, you can mold it, you can create it with the skills you develop today. Don't wait, don't delay. Get moving. Invest in yourself, invest in learning, invest in the skills that will keep you relevant, keep you valuable, keep you in the game. Your life, your future, your success, they all depend on what you do now. The time to start is now. Let me start by telling you something real. The people you surround yourself with, the ones you spend most of your time with, they shape you. They shape your thinking, your beliefs, your actions. They shape the very way you move through this world. And whether you realize it or not, they set the ceiling of your life. You ever hear that phrase, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with? It's not just some catchy quote that sounds good on a bumper sticker. It's rooted in neuroscience. Your brain is a sponge soaking up everything that's around you. The way you think, the way you react, the way you approach challenges, a lot of it comes from the people you're surrounded by. And I want you to really think about this for a second. If you hang out with people who complain, you're going to complain. If you spend time with people who are always pointing out what's wrong, always stuck in a negative mindset, guess what? That's what you're going to start doing. You're going to get caught up in the same cycle. Because negativity is contagious. When you're around it long enough, it becomes your reality. You can try to avoid it, but over time it will pull you down. But here's the flip side of that coin. If you spend time with people who dream big, who take action, who push themselves to be better every single day, your life will expand to meet that energy. You see, greatness is contagious too. When you're around people who inspire you, who challenge you, who won't let you stay comfortable, it starts to rub off. You begin to believe in things you never thought possible. You start to see opportunities where you once saw roadblocks. Your vision gets bigger because the people around you are showing you what's possible. Let me give you an example. I remember when I first got into acting. I was young, hungry, but also scared. I'd watch actors like Denzel Washington, Sidney Poitier, and Samuel L. Jackson, and I'd be amazed. I knew that they had something I wanted, but I also knew that to get there, I couldn't stay around people who didn't push me to be better. I couldn't hang out with folks who were content with mediocrity. I had to get around people who had the kind of vision, the kind of ambition, and the kind of work ethic that would challenge me to grow. I started seeking out mentors, people who had already walked the path I was trying to walk, people who were doing things that scared me but inspired me. And let me tell you, when I surrounded myself with those kinds of individuals, something inside of me clicked. My mindset shifted. I started seeing things I never saw before. I started believing that what seemed impossible was actually within my reach. The energy from those people, their vision, their hustle, their courage began to seep into my own life, and my life expanded in ways I can't even fully explain. Here's a simple test for you. Take a look at the people you're spending time with. Really look. In all honesty, ask yourself, would I trade places with any of them in any area of life? Would you trade places with them in their career? Would you trade places with them in their relationships? Would you trade places with them in terms of their health, their mindset, their happiness? If your answer is no, then it's time to make some changes. It's time to upgrade your circle. Now, I'm not saying you have to cut people off. This isn't about abandoning people or throwing away relationships that have meaning to you. But I will tell you this. You need to set boundaries. You need to recognize that there are certain people who, no matter how much you love them, can't take you to the next level. They may be holding you back without even realizing it. And that's not their fault. It's just the truth. If you want to grow, if you want to go higher, you need to surround yourself with people who are already where you want to be, or at least are actively working to get there. It's about building bridges to new environments, to new communities, to new people who challenge you, who encourage you, who elevate you. If you keep the same people around who are stuck in their comfort zone, who are okay with settling, who are okay with mediocrity, it's going to be hard to rise above that. Greatness is never built in isolation. You can't do it alone. You need a team. You need a community. You need people who will hold you accountable, who will tell you when you're messing up, but also will celebrate when you win. That's where real growth happens, when you have a circle of people who push you to be better, who believe in your potential even when you don't believe in yourself, and who expect more from you than you expect from yourself. I remember one time I was struggling with doubt, questioning if I was good enough. I reached out to a mentor who I knew wouldn't sugarcoat it. I was expecting sympathy, but he didn't give me that. He gave me truth. He told me, you're doubting yourself because you're surrounded by people who don't expect anything from you. You're playing too small. You need to be around people who will make you uncomfortable, who will challenge you, who will remind you that you're capable of more. That hit me like a ton of bricks. I realized I had to level up. I had to get serious about my circle. I had to seek out people who could help me see the bigger picture, who could inspire me, who could remind me of what was possible when I was ready to give up. And I did just that. I began finding people who were doing things I hadn't even thought of doing. I surrounded myself with people who were out there taking risks, who were focused on growth, who weren't afraid to fail because they knew failure wasn't the end, it was part of the process. And when I aligned myself with that kind of energy, my own potential started to open up. So ask yourself this. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Are they lifting you up or dragging you down? Are they inspiring you to dream bigger or keeping you small? Are they pushing you to take risks or telling you to play it safe? If the answer is no, then it's time to upgrade your circle. That doesn't mean you cut people off. It means you set boundaries. It means you start building relationships that will help you grow. You need a circle that will help you level up, push you, challenge you, and support you when things get tough. Because the truth is, your circle shapes your ceiling. If you want to reach new heights, you've got to get around people who are already there, or at least on their way. Your community, your tribe, your people, they will determine how far you can go. So choose wisely, build wisely, and keep your circle strong. There comes a point in every journey where you have to ask yourself one simple but powerful question. Why are you doing all of this? Why are you waking up early, working late, pushing yourself past your limits? Why are you putting in the hours at the gym Why are you reading the books, signing up for courses, hiring coaches, making sacrifices that no one else will see? If you don't have a strong enough reason behind it, then it doesn't matter. None of it matters. I'm not talking about some grand, perfect 10-year vision that looks good on paper. I'm talking about something much deeper than that. I'm talking about purpose. I'm talking about the reason that gets you out of bed every morning when everything inside of you is screaming to stay asleep. I'm talking about the force that makes you take one more step, even when you're tired, even when it feels like you've given all you've got. Purpose is the ultimate fuel. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, well, I don't know what my purpose is yet. I get that. And I'm here to tell you something. Purpose isn't something you find. It's something you create. It doesn't just show up one day, fully formed, with a neat little bow on top. You don't just wake up one day and say, okay, I found it, my purpose. No, it's more like a fire that you build, piece by piece. It's the fuel that keeps the engine running. Every time you show up with intention, every time you choose growth over comfort, every time you decide to invest in yourself, you're building that purpose. You're creating it. Look, I've been where you're sitting, questioning if it's all worth it, wondering if the grind will ever pay off, thinking about whether or not the sacrifices are going to be worth it in the end. I get it. But when you have purpose, when you have something that drives you, something that's bigger than you, then the sacrifices don't feel like sacrifices anymore. They feel like the necessary steps toward the person you know you are meant to become. You see, the truth is this. You will face challenges, setbacks, moments where you want to quit, moments where you feel like you're not making progress. But if your reason for pushing is tied to something deeper than success, if it's tied to significance, then you become unstoppable. It's like the weight of the world could be on your shoulders, and yet you keep moving forward, not because it's easy, but because it matters. Now, I want you to ask yourself, who do you want to become? Not what kind of job you want to have, not how much money you want to make. Who do you want to be? When you're laying on your deathbed, looking back on your life, what do you want to see? What kind of person do you want to remember yourself as? Is it someone who took shortcuts, who settled for less than they were capable of? Or is it someone who gave their all, who showed up every day, who pushed past their comfort zone and lived a life of purpose? Who was there for their family? Who impacted the lives of others? Who stood tall when life tried to knock them down? That's the real question. Because when you tie your investment in yourself to something deeper than success, when you tie it to significance, to who you are becoming and who you are impacting, then everything shifts. It's no longer about what you can get. It's about what you can give. And that's the difference that changes everything. And I'm telling you, you will feel that difference every day. When you're in the gym pushing your limits, when you're reading that book that's changing your mind, when you're grinding through the hard days and the difficult moments, it will all feel worth it. Not because you're chasing a title or a paycheck, but because you're chasing something much bigger than that. You're chasing becoming the person you were meant to be, and along the way you're impacting others in the way that lasts far beyond your own life. There's nothing more powerful than living with purpose. Because when you have purpose, you don't need anyone else to tell you what to do. You don't need external validation. Your purpose becomes your compass. It guides you when the road gets tough. It pushes you when you feel like giving up. And it keeps you moving forward even when the world seems to be moving in the opposite direction. Look, this isn't about perfection. You don't have to have it all figured out. I don't have it all figured out. Nobody does. But what I do know is that when you show up with intention, when you choose growth over comfort, when you invest in becoming better than you were yesterday, you are creating a life that has purpose. You're building something meaningful. And that, my friends, is what will carry you through the tough times. When you invest in yourself, when you put in the work, when you get serious about your personal growth, you're not just doing it for you, you're doing it for the people around you. You're doing it for your family, you're doing it for your community, you're doing it for the people who look up to you, whether they say it or not, they're watching you, they're learning from you. And when you step into your purpose, you give them permission to do the same. So, I want you to think about this. What is your purpose? What are you willing to fight for? What are you willing to bleed for? Because when you tap into that, when you connect with your true reason for doing what you do, everything else falls into place. It's not about the money, the fame, or the accolades. It's about the impact you're making, the person you're becoming, and the legacy you're leaving behind. This is your life. You get to decide what kind of life you want to live. So start living it with purpose. Don't wait for it to come to you. Go out there and create it every single day. Your future self will thank you for it. The people around you will thank you for it. And most importantly, you'll look back on your life with no regrets, knowing that you showed up, that you gave everything you had, and that you lived with purpose every step of the way. Let me tell you something. You get one life, one shot, one chance to become the person you were meant to be. And every day you wait, every second you put off making the decision to change, you're losing time you'll never get back. And that, my friends, is the harsh reality. We get one life, and it's up to you to make it count. So I'll leave you with this. Start now. Don't wait for things to fall apart. Don't wait for the breakdown. Don't wait for the crisis to shake you into action. Don't wait until you've lost something or someone to realize its true value. Start now. I know it's easy to sit here and listen to these words and think, yeah, that sounds good, but I'll get to it later. But later is a dangerous game. Later becomes never. Later becomes the excuse we use